huh? Yeti. Okay. Hey, hey! I can see bars. Okay. Can can you all hear me now? Hold on. Now I need to see if it's working now. Hello? Can you all hear me now? Yay! I can hear people now. Okay. Heard some. Yay! Also, why is it showing the chat for something completely different? What are you doing? Why are you like this? Why is it saying Mary Chrysler? Why do I only have Mary Chrysler on here, not any of the other chat? I should have dusted off a little bit more before I started. Welcome all. Hold on. Why are you doing this? Please, stop. What, YouTube? You can't do this to me. It's been too long. Yeah, I definitely missed some cobwebs. The first live stream said Chrysler. Why did the first live stream say Chrysler? And where was the first live stream? I just hit live. Did YouTube start a stream without me? I mean, it wouldn't be one of my streams if something didn't go wrong in some way, shape, or form, I guess. Can I fix this? Can I fix this somehow? Why? Can I? Refresh? Okay. I don't know how to refresh this. Do I have a backup chat? I don't know. It's called Truffle, I want to say. Uh, um. Also, welcome. I didn't even welcome y'all yet. Welcome, All Star, Farfella, and and Seth. Gosh, uh, I don't know why it does this to me. Uh, the cobwebs definitely. I definitely should have done more uh, web searching. Chat.truffle.vip. Maybe if I just do truffle.vip. What? What do you mean? Yes, All Star. What do you mean it's a what? Oh, now it's truffle.chat. Why? But yes, All Star. I'm listening, even though everything's on fire. Oh. Oh, it might have fixed itself. Yes, it updated. It updated. Yes. Well, it works. I promise I'm not working for the chocolatier. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot about the chocolatier. Oh, that's fantastic. Yay, it updated. It finally updated. And all it took was getting me to go to a website that didn't actually load, and it somehow fixed itself. But I'm not complaining. No, not one bit. I don't know what's happening here, but it worked. I'll take it. I'll run with it. Let's go. Let's go. Like, it didn't even load. I don't know why it didn't load, but it didn't load. But hey, it somehow fixed it. All right. Oh man. Why are you suddenly imagining a derpy and idol shipping? Ooh, how? I'm just trying to think about how a derpy and idol shipping would work. Honestly, it depends on the derpy. There's so many different versions of derpy that just saying derpy idol shipping, it could go 1,000 different ways depending on which version of derpy you're talking about. I guess it also depends on which version idol you're talking about, whether or not it's one from the many side stories or the main fic. Drake, welcome. Let's go. Everyone's here. The stream definitely didn't break for the first 10 minutes. Oh god. It definitely did not break for the first 10 minutes. Nope. Uh the the death of the author was greatly exaggerated, as was the death of the stream, or the death of the chat. All greatly exaggerated. I missed the last couple because I work on Saturdays now. Honestly, so do I. So I think I might be moving the stream to Sunday because I don't work every Saturday, but when I do, I don't get off until like 4 or 5. So it might be for the best. I don't know. It all depends on how everything else works out. Gosh, I don't know what's going on with YouTube chat now. Gosh, it's working. Like, it's working, and I'm happy for that. But now, why is it saying what? What do you mean? Sorry, YouTube is now doing other shenanigans now. Why? I go to Man's stream and it's popping up a Mary Chrysler stream. Mary Chrysler was months ago. I'd say male mare version of Derpy whose daughter is Dinky. Yes, but that describes 1,000 of other Derpies, depending on how their personalities work. Because there are some stories where Derpy's personality is, well, derpy uh, and unapologetically enthusiastic about everything. And we got an update from Karma. They're coming. They're coming. 25 more minutes. Let's go. Uh, and then you have the derpy. Then you have some stories who derpy is like more like I want to say more level-headed, but still seeing a silver lining in everything that's going on. But she's more grounded, to say the least. Oh no, they're coming. Oh, 100%. They're going to crash the stream. Ah. So, so yeah, the derpy from, like, for example, uh, the main timeline is going to be different from the derpy of, uh, let's say, oh gosh, uh, Full of the Force, which is different from like every story has a different version of derpy because we only heard derpy speak once, and then they changed it, so we don't know exactly what the canon derpy is. Oh no, we heard derpy twice. That's right. One derpy fic where she and Blue Blood were an item. Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, there are tons of different ways to Derpy's personality gets written that there's not really a way. Uh, there's not really a way to know what's like what unless you specify like a specific Derpy personality and how they would mesh with Idol's personality. Welcome, Spartan. I've never seen an interpretation of Derpy that isn't both a sweetheart and a great mother. True, but there are versions of her where she's completely brilliant, but still just a level-headed sweetheart, and others where she takes more after her namesake, still a sweetheart, but completely oblivious to anyone that but her little muffin. And that's why I say there's multiple versions of Derpy. Derpy. Oh, lost that cover. There we go. That should sound a little slightly better now. Derpy fic where, due to pure chance, winds up as the sole ruler of a Sequestria as its last and only alicorn. Yeah. And see, like that Derpy's experiences will greatly change it. It's like trying to mesh up Idol, but you don't specify a main timeline Idol, so it's like, oh, could it be Rock Idol? Could it be uh, could it be Dock Worker Idol or some or all the hundreds of other thousands of variations of Idol at this point? But even less so because Idol's personality has been greatly honed and only minor variations exist. Whereas Derpy, her personality is just loves her daughter and is a sweetheart. Everything else is different. Derpy was their only choice. And how any fic that takes place between season one and Crystal Empire can just have Idol show up. Exactly. Exactly. There are many different ways to interpret how an Idol Derpy shipping would happen. It doesn't have to be special. Background, 100%. But that's why Idol's personality meshing with Topaz is so great because uh, I'd almost say love at first sight. Certainly, one of them was falling for the other, and even if he didn't realize it, like it's fun making a character who wants to stay in his lane. Yeah, you practically made Idol one of those people that like if they were in a horror movie, they would not do all the dumb crap that all the other people in the horror movie would do. It's like, why are you splitting up? Why are you running towards the killer? Why isn't anyone calling the police here? Yeah, Idol was definitely fascinated by the whole thing. by just Topaz being Topaz, and how, like, doesn't he also kind of see Topaz as, like, even amongst ponies, Topaz is slightly more insane than the average pony. Although pony society is always ponies are always crazy, but she's a special kind of crazy. Topaz was also significantly smitten at first, 100%. It also helps that like Idol definitely cared for Topaz a ton, even if he didn't realize it himself by not only staying by her side because he was utterly lost, but also helping her recover from something that he didn't even realize was a recoverable thing. Her oddities are strictly her own, yes. Call the police? Are you insane? Let's hide in the barn filled with sharp objects. Exactly! Exactly! I don't even think the actually not cursed, just a shapeshifting bug was all that much of a turnoff. Topaz was physically intrigued by all, as per the interior, yeah, and scientifically intrigued by him as a changeling. Yeah, and plus, Topaz loves to live on the edge. She definitely has like an adrenaline junkie vibe about her, given how she's like, let's go play with manticores, or how she was talking about getting her wings preened by a griffin. It was like, calling it exciting because it's like it's a really good preen, but with knives. It's like her being the type of crazy that would fall for Idol just makes it all the better. Physically intrigued is one way to describe it. Uh, Topaz and Twilight Velvet would get along. I could see that. I haven't seen any of the episodes where Twilight Velvet actually gets a personality and is not a background pony, but I assume so. Hey, Dope. Hey, Dope. Let's go over that waterfall in a barrel. Velva is a thrill seeker. Oh, fair enough. Gosh. Velvet, Vinyl, and Topaz all are in a secret friend group that if any of their partners discovered, uh, they would have to encase them all in bubble wrap to be like, no, you cannot do this. Topaz is obsessive with her insects and is kind of a huge turnoff in pony society. I mean, fair enough. Like, as someone who has a vested interest in how bugs work and whatnot, most people find it disgusting when I describe how these things work. They're happy that I know them, so I can educate them a little bit on their um, how they function and how they function in our favor. But but half the people I talk to are just like, I don't care, just make them go away. I'm like, all right, sounds good to me. She has a gross obsession, and it leads to most of her pony relationships crumbling. Oh, absolutely. But most other species are less grossed out. Did Topaz ever get with a bat pony? Ever? It feels like she would be intrigued by them. If she hooked up with a bat pony, she might have become a chef. Oh, that would have been so funny. We've not seen a lot of Topaz in her thrill seeker mode for a while, but it really does make her and Idol a perfect odd couple. Absolutely. I just realized, I just had this thought now. Topaz and Idol are somewhat the Addams family for Equestria. They're odd, but they're odd and not afraid to be themselves. But doing that has accidentally made them wildly successful in their own fields by pure happenstance. Also, I wonder how Moth Chaser would react to Topaz's Room of Death. Or especially Stingsley. Topaz settled down a little after she became a professor. Yeah, pretty much. Although parts of the old her still poke through, especially when she lets her hair down. Topaz being an oddly memorable mare made her someone who stuck in Katie's mind. Also, it probably didn't hurt any that she was a person that wasn't just what does it say? More impressed by Princess Cadence as a who treated Princess Cadence with more of a gosh, I thought I turned you off. Hold on. I'm getting it yep from my phone real quick. I just need to turn that off. Okay. Why are you in that mode? I never turn you into that mode. Okay, I'm no longer in that mode. Perfect. It also probably to finish my thought to it probably also helped that uh what was didn't she interact with Cadence before like the whole gala thing too, or am I misremembering? Also, it probably also helped that she was more impressed by Cadence as a pony than worrying about her title, even though the first meetup was like, "You tell me she was a princess." Well, you never asked. I don't think so either. I think the only person that's like had interactions with Topaz and Honeybee, at least after Idol, is like Fluttershy, which I would love if Fluttershy and Topaz like hung out together in the Crystal Empire. Fluttershy for getting to see all the new critters that have been lost for 1,000 years, and Topaz like educating Fluttershy on that sort of stuff. I was told to call Cadence Katie, so he did. Yep, yep, and always refer to her as Katie, and then Topaz was like, "I thought you meant Katie did." Oh man, but yeah. So a little bit of an update on what's been happening. I think I finally have adjusted to how summer typically is at work here. And going from a job where I was mostly sitting in an office for 2.5 years to going around a job where I'm consistently getting almost 20,000 steps a day has been rough, but I think I think I've made it through the worst the worst of the acclimatation of it. Just wish it wasn't so hot around here all the time. Topaz heard you would like Katie and presumed it was a work relation. I was excited. Yep. Also, like 20,000 steps a day plus 11-hour work days. Whew, that was a big change up. That's like my old shift from when I worked back uh, as a pizza pone. Not quite, but almost. I'm now working more than I ever did there. And then some days a week it's more like 60 hours rather than 55. That's fine. We're all fine. This is also why I'm moving it to Sundays, because Saturdays I sometimes work. Which was such a fun revelation that for Cadence that she became fast friends. Yeah, gosh, I I know the story is focused around Idol, but I would kind of love another like um chapter of just what's been happening behind the scenes that Idol just doesn't notice. Like how did Ma sorry, how did how did Topaz move all her stuff, including a similar looking house, to the Crystal Empire before Idol did, and Idol presumably knew before Topaz? Unless Cadence told Topaz behind Idol's back, but even then, Idol was like shipped off almost immediately to the Crystal Empire. I mean, probably just after the main six, but not too long after. Like, just the logistics of like, okay, packing up, moving everything we got, including the house, and we're going to put it over there. Oh, Topaz hired the pink demon to help. Celestial meddling. Oh, it could be 100% all of these. Katie's an excellent shipper. Oh, I mean, it could be a team up of all three. We don't know. Idol and Topaz only talked once after the wedding. Oh, of course, they only talked once, but Katie is an excellent shipper. This is now canon. The author has spoken. Yeah, Topaz and Idol only talked once, but as soon as Cadence knew that Idol was getting shipped to the Crystal Empire, she's like, we cannot break them up. No, he's already going through too much shit, and I want to help out my friend. So, so helped Cadence move there ahead of schedule. Absolutely conspicuous. uh, I I would love to imagine that Topaz arrived on the train just before Idol and had just barely gotten back from like setting up the whole thing. Just barely walked into their house, had like 5 minutes of rest before Idol walks in. Is just like plays off as she's been here the whole time. I look forward to the revelation that Cadence now owns a shipping company entirely because of this incident. Even better, since it was Topaz that helped Cadence start the shipping company, it's she's technically a co-owner of that, and since Topaz has more than enough bits, she puts it under Idol's name instead. So Idol only becomes richer from this event. Because if anything, Idol's coffers must grow. Yeah. So, I know this is going to be a shock for most of you, given how the last like 4 streams I've gone. But I think I might actually record something today. Who knows? Why is there a crinkly bag of chips in my mic stand? When did I put that there? Why would I put that there? There's a trash can right underneath. Anyway, I'll try and stop distracting myself. And close the recording curtains. Because, yes, I do have recording curtains. Hopefully this doesn't mess up any plugs on the back side of my monitors. I really should change the orientation of this desk. I don't know how much it would help, though. Eh. You dare? I'll believe it when I hear it. We have a character who doesn't want or understand money. We need to give him all of it. My thoughts exactly. Idol needs to get richer every day against his will because it's funny. Equi your desk LGBT won't affect streaming. Gosh, it took me a sec. It took me way too long to get that joke. Though one of my friends did send me a rainbow desk mat. So it would be the perfect month to install it. Idol could walk into a casino with the intention of losing all his money, bet on a single number on roulette, and would still walk away winning. Oh, absolutely. Idol has the exact opposite of the luck of Moonmender, which is a character from a different fic. It's a pretty good one. Uh, if you like sci-fi and aliens and following the story of an amnesiac, I highly recommend Memory Pending and its sequel. The sequel's more sci-fi, uh, but the relationships of someone trying to find out who they are in Equestria is always so much fun. I shall try and record for the first time in a year? Has it really been a year since I've actually recorded anything? Gosh, I've really fallen behind schedule. I'll never catch up to V at this rate. Oh no, I don't even have what chapter number this is. Hold on. I can't record without knowing what chapter number I'm recording. Is it 50? Is it 51? I want to say it's 51. It could also be 52. Actually, no, it is 52. Yep, 52. That's right. The other vignette doesn't happen until way later. Oh, why can you see my mouse? Did I make it so you could see my mouse on that? Oh, I'm getting distracted again. Hold on. Chapter 53. Aftermath. So, that is a concise retelling of the events of my day. I tried to lift my hoof again, and found it was still damnably stuck. I still could not decide whether I should be more impressed or annoyed. Annoyance was beginning to win out, but then again, it was impressive that this substance was what... It was... It was... It was impressive that this substance was able to resist my ability to adjust my body, so maybe they were still even. It was actually more than mildly concerning that she could do this in the first place. Mm-hmm, came the muffled response. There was a low rumble of thunder from outside, unusual enough in Canterlot. Mm-hmm, came the muffled response. There was a low rumble of thunder from outside, unusual enough in Canterlot. I believe I have earned an explanation for why you're wearing a helmet, cape, and a gas mask? And why are there giant sticky pads all over the house? I queried, feeling I had been excessively patient in this particular regard. Her murmured response was almost completely imperceptible, and even more impossible to comprehend. Could you speak up or remove the mask? The oddly painted mask was yanked off of a The oddly painted mask was yanked off by a flush topaz, but a See, I'm doing it, chat. I'm doing it. I'm recording, and it's the odd. I'm recording for the first time in history. The oddly painted mask was yanked off by a flush topaz, but her voice remained The oddly painted mask was yanked off by a flush topaz, but her voice remained a mutter. Sure. I tilted forward, and the unwelcome mat that I was standing on slipped, and thus I found myself laying on my side, not quite glaring, but certainly not pleased with my situation. Topaz bit her lip and put her hoof to her mouth, but I could only sigh as I laid my head down. Aware that I was now stuck cheek first, I caught a look at her. You may laugh if you must. Well, I'll be damn right. It's been a year. I need to catch up on these. Idle. Okay, hold on. Now I need to find Topaz's voice. A drink of water. Idle. No. Just idle. 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 Just no. Idle. There we go. There's Topaz's voice. I think we need to look out the window for the other four horses now. I mean, there's lots of horses in this stream. Like, see, there's us there, Idle over there, Moth Chaser hanging from the ceiling. I'm on top of you guys. Rock Idle's on top of the other chat. And then there's the other me that's hanging. Then there's the other Equinox staring menacingly above the window. There's lots of horses. Which four are you talking about? She needs to be repressing laughter. Oh, 100%, which is why I which is why I had to re-record that line. Maybe the chocolatier. I mean, we could there's lots of good chocolatiers in Canterlot. So, you have to be more specific. Like even to the Royal Bakery on the there was like 4, 5 of them. There's and that's only in Ponyville, let alone Canterlot. Or are you talking about the chocolatier? I hear he's only a legend, told as a bedtime story to other chocolatiers, uh, as a way of either glory or fear. But no one knows if he actually exists. If he does, he would be in the private hooves of Celestia. I really shouldn't. I noticed that her hoof did not move from where it hit her muzzle, though her rapid blinking belayed her restrained mirth. The true secret? There are 3 chocolatiers! Dun, dun, dun. Are they covering different sections of the city, or is it past, present, and future chocolatiers? The one in training, the one active, and the one that's the mentor figure that's gonna die a heroic death because of contract obligations. No, they just make candy bars together. I swear. I swear, guys. They just make candy bars. No, no, I insist. No, no, I insist. I tried to shift my hooves. No, no, I insist. I tried to shift my hoofs and side to be more angular, but a true. I tried to shift my hooves and side to be more angular, but a I tried to shift my hooves and side to be more angular, but it proved a mostly fruitless endeavor. And I also must beg your assistance in helping me up. Her voice was strangled. Truffle's not working. Let's go! I mean, it should just work auto magically if you type in a couple of keywords like idol. No, hold on. What was I know I posted from me in live stream chat. That should. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Wait, I have at here commands? I didn't realize this. That could be much more annoying. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Idol has to be. The I in idol has to be capitalized as well. Then you got bats. Bat dance. Mothy. Yeah, you gotta have the bats. You also have were. Or you have werewolf. Changeling. Yeah, you have plenty. Just yeah. Can we pin? Can we pin? I can't pin. V, mind pinning? It would be very helpful. Yes, Drake. Is a fat changeling a chungling? Why was that the next one I read? Also, why did it not tell me that you said chungling? Is YouTube trying to edit out chungling? It said on my capture, but it didn't say it in the chat that I'm reading from. Oh my gosh. Twilight is practicing a spell where she gets distracted by something, probably Rainbow, crashing into her home, and the spell goes wild and hits Idol and splits into 4 different versions of herself. One is super happy, one lazy as hell, one wants a good fight, and the other is perpetually pissed off. So it splits them into the core four emotions according to. Uh, actually, no. You need to capitalize the. You need to capitalize the I. You don't want to be confused with Apple products. Uh, oh yeah, Apple. The Apple family's cornered the market on Apple products. Also, welcome, Strange. Welcome, Strange One. Welcome to the stream. We are making unprecedented efforts today of things actually being recorded. Big Chun-Li. Gosh, you don't realize how much I want to draw this now. And it's bad for me because I have plenty of other things I still want to draw. All nymph-size idols that are just different variations. I have so many dings I still need to put in chat. Like I've made uh Cersus Cersus impatient go. Am I reading that right? Hold on. Oh, nope. I spelled impatient wrong. Hold on. Yay! It worked. I feel like he wouldn't split into emotions because that's not changeling, but he'd become different changeling elements. Ooh. Like would he split into like different changeling casts? Like would one be a warrior cast, one be a tunneler, uh one be a what's it called? Imposter class. I can't remember. Infiltrator. That's right. Infiltrator class. It's not changeling for him to have a wife and daughter, but he does. But in that regard, he is not changeling. Like obedient, sacrificing, ambitious, and sneaky. He's a snake. He's a snake. He's a sneaky, sneaky snake. Well, he only has the one replaced limb, so he should be fine in that regard. I'm right. I'm remembering right. He only. Gosh, could you imagine like his replaced limbs, like doing things without his knowledge? And it's just like, oh, sorry, my left hoof is having a bad day today. What do you mean left hoof? Left hoof punches someone, and they're like, yeah, he does that sometimes. Sorry, I have to keep him on a leash. Just becomes Thing from the Addams Family. Oh, 100%. He got three replaced? I I really don't remember one, but it's been a while since I read that chapter because I read the very fun. I when I reread, it's typically the very fun chapters that then suck me into the story to read the more serious chapters. But I mostly only reread the very fun chapters because I'm going to be rereading them all eventually. But the ones where he's goofing off in Ponyville for his forced vacation to Ponyville, his all his interactions with the rest of his squad, just all funny. The you bastard, and it was so tempting. The window of opportunity escaped itself. But yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, only one limb got fully replaced, and the rest are there's something. I reread the Post Invasion ones fairly regularly. Loved the character work. Oh yeah, Post Invasion is always so much fun, uh, especially him interacting with Cersus. Like this is you have the wrong file. Are you attempting a break in? No, I mean yes, but we have permission to do it. What do you mean the door was unlocked the whole time? His poison joke infliction is to become idol. That's it. All the idols that you see, that's his poison joke affliction. Although I wonder if that's changed now. He lost a rear leg too, but it was replaced a bit more perfectly. Gotcha. Oh, that is a question though. Has uh has Idol's poison joke has Idol's joke been updated since he's gone through a lot of character arc rather than just being a perfect guard? Because as like I know in the show they only reuse poison joke once, and it was for a character that's perpetually never wants to be the center of attention. But I've seen it in stories a lot uh where the the joke that the plant plays on you changes can change if your personality not personality but if you grow beyond the purpose of the original joke. Yeah, flutter guy. uh pulls the string. The power of love and friendship will win the day. Idol's joke hasn't evolved yet. Ooh, yet. Ooh, I can't wait to see what the new joke is. He still wants to be controlled by ponies who know better. Oh, that's the other reason for the doll. Idle hooves in action figure. It does nothing. That's it. Full magical girl transformation. Why don't they just stop the magical girl transformation? Because they're lifting into the sky on a beam of light. They would get instantly vaporized if they touched it. The only thing that might have evolved since the early days is the pole string. He speaks up now. Oh man. Uh Gosh, I don't know if it was originally the case, but like Idol could only speak when the string was pulled. And then I think it evolved to Idol would speak and then the pull string would say canned phrases that he was incredibly annoyed by. Is now the pull string just completely cut? Hopefully in a deadpan sarcastic tone. The idols would just bolster Idol's bank account even more. Oh, absolutely. He's a marketable plush now. He's officer friendly. Um, and don't forget, we also have the other people in the friendly core, uh, like Nightlight and and the Nightlight and the rest of them. I bring justice from above. But please stop doing that. Whip. And it's, and it's just the most guard. It's all catchphrases that appear in his 80s style action cartoon that's just there to sell more toys. Should definitely sound like they're coming out of a cheap speaker. I feel like Idol's voice itself should come out of a cheap speaker because the plushies don't have a mouth of their own, as you can see by this little guy. No mouth. You can't see the lack of mouth on this one because it's covered in a mustache. But there's also that one. But yeah, you have Officer Friendly, Little Mischievous, which is Circus, and Deputy Affectionate, which is Topaz. This is the limited edition Topaz in her Crystal Guard, or in her Crystal Recruitment form, uh, after Idol moved to the Crystal Empire. And also to promote that the Crystal Empire, also to promote the Crystal Empire as a whole. The AU Idol, Magical Filly, Idol Hooves. Please don't make me. Please don't turn me into a marketable plushie. Too late. He already is. I have no mouth and I must scream. And instead of saying curse words, they're more softer versions like plushed up. That's because you speak from the heart. Let's see. Do I have? Hold on. I need to look through my archive. Hold on. Let me open the archive real quick. Gotta open up the vault door. So this program actually does take a long time to launch, but it's great. Let's see. Chickadee, Aster, Rusty, Grimoire, Sunmane, Nightlight, Affectionate, Will, Salty, Poro, Homage, Little Pip, Lav, Paka, me, Jerry, Callie, Kiri, Cryptic, Nameless, more officer friendly, bat versions of the whole crew, Starlight, Rock Idol, Kenza, Big Mac, more cryptics, more Kiris, more Kiris, more cryptics, more cryptics, more cryptics, more Lav, the main six in general, more Sunmane, Blackjack, cryptic, various versions of Idol, Officer Friendly, Circus, more Nameless, Homage, Lil Pip, Velvet, Luna, Salty, Nyx, me, Fluttershy, Whisper, Jerry, Will, Winnie, Solstice, more Alpaca, Brittany, Sunmane, Iron, Raymond, oh, yeah, no, it's nope, I do not have Shining Armor or Cadence. That is. Oh, you haven't seen the bat versions of the crew? Hold on. Now I need to remedy this. Hold on, let me. Can I just click and drag? Oh, yep. Yeah. Here's your daily dose of Batos. Enjoy. Gosh, we want more plushies in this stream. There's already so many. There's so many plushies in this stream. Hold on. I don't know if I can make them fit. It's not proper to expose your face. Now I need to make Cadence and Shining. Oh, I definitely should plan on making them because we have to let. What was Cadence's role in the Officer Friendly TV show? She was like the dispatcher. What was her name? What do we name her? Does anyone in the chat remember? Because my brain's like pudding when it comes to my own stuff. If I read it, it's there forever. If I just talk about it, I almost instantly forget. How come we don't get Batified Moth Chaser? This is exclusionary. I don't know what ship. Oh, yeah, I absolutely forgot about Battle Moth Chaser. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry for excluding your favorite character. Absolutely. I will rectify this uh, as soon as I am able to. I don't know. I might have lost the file already for it, but I shall try my best to rectify my horrid mistake of forgetting Topaz or forgetting Moth Chaser. Yep, the new moon herself. All praise the bats. This is all new lore to me. I only came up with the main cast, so please tell us. It was in one of the previous live streams. We went on like a 2 hour tangent about an officer friendly TV show styled in like the old 80s era cartoons, where you had the friendly corps, and the friendly corps was all the original. Uh, was all the original squad mates for Idol. Bold, Wispy, um, Shining. Actually, no, Shining wasn't part of the Officer Friendly Corps because the twist on the TV show is that Shining armor is being has been corrupted and held hostage uh, by the evildoer, and the end of season one is you rescue him and yet decorruptify him using the power of friendship and whatnot. For Moth Chaser is a reformed bad guy, and that's why her name's Nightlight. Welcome, Pensive. You need some morning coffee? I just finished mine, and I might have another cup after this stream because it's so good and addicting. I mean, not addicting. I'm not saying I'm addicted at all. I can stop any time I want to. It just tastes so good. Could you imagine if Idol changed into a Thestral? Uh, Moth Chaser sees and continually calls him a new moon. And when Idol points out that they've been in the guard for just as long, he's like, yeah, but you're the only one that's the newest moon since you weren't always a bat pony. Taking a guess, but I'm assuming she's Dispatcher Lovely and Idol would be Damsel Shine. Well, he wouldn't be Damsel Shine. We gave him another name, like the evil villain that's more powerful than the Overlord, but is somehow still the minion. And it turns out the season one is the Dispatcher, trying to rescue their trying to rescue their love from the clutches of the evil Overlord, which I'm not sure if we ever figured out what the evil or Overlord would actually be called. And then it's the typical it's based off of like He-Man and G1, like super, super, or like all the shows from the '80s where they were just there to sell toys, but somehow had also great storylines as well. Gosh, now I need to read through. Now I need to watch a previous stream so I can figure out what we were talking about, and then I can post all these to the server so that everyone else can see. Also, it was so funny reading in the Discord yesterday of someone else uh, someone else being infected by by the love of Thestrals. Cadence's identity was hidden to the main cast, absolutely. Cadence's identity was hidden. Um, I can't remember. I really wish I remember what Shining's name was. Like, I don't think it was. It was. It was like Heartbreaker. No, that doesn't sound right. Cocoon, the evil plush version of Chrysalis, and that one that makes the most cute plush on purpose. So the dispatcher would be evil, to purposefully get the team in danger, only for them to come out ahead. They think her quirk is being is dyslexic. No, I think the dispatcher, being Cadence, wants to rescue uh, Shining from because he was part of another team that went to defeat the Overlord, and so they dispatched the but got corrupted and turned into the minion. No one on the cast knows this except for the dispatcher, and so they send in a friendly corps, and they have to make their way through all the other villains, also redeeming Moth Chaser along the way. And we'll be back in 20 minutes. Yep. No, Cadence is not the evil one. Actually, maybe Cadence is the evil one. I can't remember. I remember one of the couples was evil, but I think Cadence would be the one that's not evil because, as the Princess of Love, like having the friendly core be under her would like make sense propaganda wise. Can Sora unlock Idol's messy miasma interior? I don't know enough about Kingdom Hearts lore to understand that question. Like unlock his memories? I've Idol's memories is a steel trap. Anyone sets hoof in there is going to get all caught up in the messiness that both the queen and Idol both accidentally on purpose caused. But yeah, no, like Nightlight was added to the crew after being reformed as a show, as more propaganda of like Thestrals and how uh, they're not so different from us after all. Um, Gosh, now I really wish I wrote down these characters' names. 'Cause I can't remember for the life of me. Any hoozles. Should Nightlight should always be the scary girl with the heart of gold? Oh, absolutely. She's a hit. And she's like one of the most popular characters. Oh, right, right. So the original cast of the Friendly Corps is Officer Friendly, Deputy Affectionate, Little Mischievous, uh, Bold, which I don't remember if we actually gave him a canon friendly core name or not. We might have? Hold on. Hold on. Need to open up the other archive. Hold on. It's dusty in here. um. Nope, I did not give him a canon name. We don't even have a canon like color palette for the. If someone gets a reference put together of bold, it can't be me because I don't think like that. I can't picture it myself, unfortunately. Even if it's an MS Paint render, I want to draw the rest of the squad, but there's no like descriptions of them. If we can get Pony Creator working again, can someone please tell me what Bold Big Flink looks like and the rest of the crew so we can get actual canon versions? Why is this me? I can fix her. We had to fix the Crystal Empire budget. Who thinks of Nightlight in the cast? Like, is it a sudden oh my god moment, or does Cadence be thinking, and after seeing Moth Chaser, she has inspiration? I believe that our original thing for her being in the cast was it was a chance to introduce little Colton fillies to Thestrals as a whole, so they wouldn't be nearly as scared of them. Maybe to think of them as, oh, they're cool and whatnot, and kind of familiarize Thestrals as a whole to society. And since Moth Chaser is like one of the top, is one of the top Luna guards, she was most obvious choice, especially with since she's the one that mostly interacts with Idol. In the cast being in the story. Oh, in the story of the show, she's one of the villains of the week that they defeat. Um, or not the villain of the week. She's one of the mini bosses. And then once they defeat that mini boss, she's able to interact with the rest of the crew, and she also gets a uh, uh, some of the cast are still like, won't they like her because she used to be a bad guy, but Idol trusts her implicitly, and she gets a final like showing moment of yes, I am a good guy now, uh, by one of the stories turning by a major decision that happens later on in the season. I think it makes sense to introduce the Crystal Empire ponies to Bat ponies because the Bat ponies were almost completely unknown to them. That is true. That is also true. That is definitely what a lot of people would be thinking. Acclimatized. That's what I was the word I was looking for. They introduced Thestrals to the show to acclimatize the Crystal Empire to everything. Though I do remember reading in one story that uh, that Thestrals were originally created by Luna. They were Pegasi that were altered for duty in service to the night. Uh, and there were variations for both unicorns and earth ponies. They became much stronger. I think it might have been in Discorded Hooves, I want to say. I don't know, I haven't finished reading that whole thing. It's long. But, like, oh, that's a neat idea of, like, it being originally a magical change, and then it slowly just got introduced to the population, and now there's just a section that is have been naturally born thestrals rather than magically created. Last question before I got to bounce, but what does Idol hate to eat as an opposite of the durian fruit from before? Like the thorax of foods, I would make comparisons that he would make comparisons of him of. Mint or basil? Basically, things that bother ponies are the equivalent of spicy to him. What is Idol's opinion on, gosh, what's that one herb that either everyone hates it or either people hate it or like it? Um, it's the one that tastes like soap to some people. I don't think it's coriander. No, it's not coriander. What is it called? Or cilantro. Cilantro, that's it. Cilantro. Ponies conceived during a flutterbat style incident? Absolutely. There are bat ponies who are naturally from Transylvania and bat ponies who are magically. I love Transylvania. More horse cities to add to my another fine addition to my collection. I like it. Soap is tasty. Concern. Yeah, that is how it be though. Could you imagine if like Idol hates chocolate, even though it is full of sugar, and he would normally like all things considered, it would be something that he would absolutely enjoy, but he just can't stand the taste of chocolate and just much prefers durian fruit. That'd be a really fun twist too. And maybe it's because the first chocolates he tasted were given to him because of a bad they were part of a bad breakup, so the whole chocolate taste was tainted with bad emotions, and so he's just never liked chocolate from that day forward. Like if you eat something while you're sick, you never want to eat that thing again. Cilantro is the Spanish word for coriander. Oh, so coriander and cilantro are the same thing? Oh. Oh, that's you learned something new today. I'm now part of the 10,000. Only because Topaz makes me eat it, knowing looks somehow loudly. Gosh, a loud look. I never thought I'd hear the day. Oh man. Where did I leave off anyway? I'm only 26 seconds into this. Or not 26, 2 minutes. Her voice was strangled. Oh, there we go. There we go. Have a good one, strange one. See you next time. Have to talk rock shop? Oh, absolutely. Coming to summer to a theater near you, Idle Hooves is Kindergarten Guard. That was a great movie. Although I feel like even as overwhelmed as Idle could get, he would never resort to telling kids to shut up. He would never resort to yelling at kids to shut up. And then, like, him rushing to go get a pet ferret to calm them down would definitely be something he would do. But I just can't see him yelling at foals. Rock Idol when? What do you mean Rock Idol win? What do you mean Rock Idol? Idol would absolutely request side. He would say it strongly, but he wouldn't do the panicked Schwarzenegger of shut up, shut up, shut. Like he wouldn't purposefully yell, but he would definitely put his hoof down for sure. Rock Idol story when if someone writes Rock Idol, I'll read it. I'll eventually read all the many side stories that I'll read eventually all the spin-offs because they're fun. I still have to finish the second chapter of Swirled Eyes. Idle hooves are the devil's tools. Strange is supposed to write it. Oh, get after Strange. Time to the writing desk. Although I think it's fully occupied with Drake living there every day. Stop, cease crying, be done, silence. Now, may we continue? Oh, gotcha. Drake just lives there rent free. No, he just sleeps there and does nothing. He pays rent occasionally, somewhat more occasionally than I pay rent. Somewhat. I actually read a fic where an Anthro Twilight was a rock star instead of a librarian. I could definitely see that. That's pretty much Equestria Girls, honestly. Is they're all rock stars. Especially if you only watch Rainbow Rocks. I still say that Equestria Girls, or sorry, Rainbow Rocks is kind of like the best Equestria Girls. Granted, I haven't seen the other Equestria Girls after that one, but from what I heard of the general consensus is Rainbow Rocks is still the best one. But I guess that just depends on which group you're looking at. Because I absolutely love Rainbow Rocks. Sirens were like one of the best villains. Um, like they were the villains that like actually. Well, granted, season 9 did come through, but uh, with the exception of the Pony of Shadows, they they really only defeated uh, the Sirens because uh, because of a reformed villain. The main 6 were not enough. It took one more. Don't tell Drake, but he let me read a part of the next chapter already, and the scene of them fighting the rock ponies above the lava pits really sold the chapter. Oh, I can't wait. Although, according to Desk, the race war chapter is almost here. Was it next chapter? I can't remember. He keeps on saying one chapter. I can't remember what he always says. No. Rocks versus crystals. You have to delete the entire chapter now. Marvel writer intensifies. Does that mean Karma's Spider-Man now? Or Tom Holland because they just spoil everything? I don't I don't okay, there we go. Gotta get my Topaz voice back yet. You sure? You almost got it. I gave her a flat look. Do I really? It was not truly a question. I gave her a flat look. Do I really? It was truly not a question. No? Uh, no? And then her composure broke. Um, mm, no. No? Now I have to do no's. Every time I walk away from the stream, there's a new and unintelligible form of madness going on. Well, like I always say, like I've been saying for years, welcome to the madhouse. Uh, the inmates have taken over the facility. Hopefully, you're all speaking the same language when I get back from the shops. It means don't leave. That's also true. And I don't know, might do a little bit longer stream today, might not. Really depends on how I feel in the next 20 minutes or so. But who knows? It's all up to fate, a flick of the coin, which I actually have 3 coins I could flick, but I really don't want to because they're heavy and they hurt my hand. Hey, wait, what's different between your Cersus and my Cersus? I'm now trying to see. Oh, you said circus. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. uh, oh no. No. And then her composure broke and gave a barely restrained And then her composure broke and gave a barely restrained snort before breaking into full-blown laughter as she went for the kitchen. And then her composure broke and gave a barely restrained snort before breaking into a full-blown laughter as she went for the kitchen. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Let me get some cooking oil or something. I'm still waiting on the I'm still waiting on an explanation for the gas mask. I informed her retreating form, trying to wiggle after her. Hold on. I'm still waiting on an explanation for the gas mask. I informed her retreating form, trying to wriggle after her, only managing to somehow fold an upended portion of the mat over me. I decided it might be best to leave this in her hooves, and waited patiently. I felt uncomfortable, like a parcel awaiting shipment. Just give me a minute. How did you make it worse in the 10 seconds it took me to get some vegetable oil? Hold still, let me pour some of this over. Like a bug snug in a doormat. I mean, it could probably be a rug. Just give me a minute. How did you make it worse in the 10 seconds it took me to get some vegetable oil? Hold still. Let me pour some of this on your hooves. Within minutes, I began to pry free thanks to the slippery substance, though now mere tile became more troublesome. Greasing up the rest of me was an interesting feeling, though not one I desired to replicate anytime soon. Honestly, just stay still. We'll dry you off and a little soap will fix the rest. And then I have to take down the rest of them. Topaz. Topaz. Please, tell me what's going on. A groan of despair. Promise you won't laugh? I raised an eyebrow. Oh, okay, that's fair. I was, Topaz Showers, the bugmare, but by night I was the buggisher. I blinked a few times. The what? I I was convinced that the government was being taken over by bug ponies. Topaz, I believe I am what you would consider a bug pony. You've made that clear in no uncertain terms before, and the comparison seems to be apt. Yeah, there was some convoluted backstory, and I think you were like a frenemy, and I had an archenemy, the queen bee. Would that be why Honeydew's house now has stripes and a large crown painted on it? Honeydew was queen bee? Disbelief crossed her face, then annoyance. Of course she would be. Why wasn't that obvious? According to Spike, it never is. That was the best long take I've ever done. That never happens to me. I welcome back, Farfella. Did we figure out everyone's name? No. We just kind of got sidetracked and went back to reading. Also, welcome, Lav. It's been a while. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream reading, where for once in my life, I am actually reading. I'm actually doing what I usually say I'm going to be doing on stream. How did you all fail? Very carefully. Yeah, let's go with that. Very carefully, and impressively too. I can't believe you made it through a full paragraph. Gold star. I told Equinox and he told Drake on YouTube. He wasn't supposed to read. Yeah, it's true. I'm usually never supposed to read, but I don't know. It just somehow happens. Yeah, I'm learning how to read. Like it's confusing. It's just as surprising, if not more so to me than it is to everyone else. But now that I can read, I have no choice but to continue. Also, enjoy Appa Dance. Do we know if they're continuing like the comic story of Apogee? Because I got like the first two comics that they did, but I don't know if they ever continue the series. It would be great if they did, though. Douche, 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 douche. Do you think he gets there is no spoon style powers now? Gosh, is my character just going to randomly come out and like do a flip and then fly off screen, only to somehow be back in place in order to tank bullets? I almost read without actually restarting without starting the recording. Look, it doesn't matter. Dear Celestia Idol, my basement's full of photographs and red threads and maps. I'm not entirely sure it wasn't me who was the villain. I mean, I think I was stung as a fool, but I was never stung as a little filly. I can't tell if I just don't remember my backstory, or if I made it up, or if it was always made up, or... I put a hoof to her shoulder firmly. Topaz, calm down. All is well. Discord is gone, apparently. I'm under the impression that the elements of harmony have resolved that issue, but the specifics are yet a mystery to me. Everything is mostly how it should be. The weather crews are trying to wash away what they can, and we're authorized to use localized typhoons if need be. Honeydew's home will get a good washing, and hopefully whatever she used to decorate her home comes right off. I could have hurt some pony. Harmony knows what I have done to a changeling. You would have done nothing. Whatever. You would have done nothing. Whatever the. I gave a deep sigh. Buggisher did is completely unrelated to things that you would normally do. Is Honeydew your nemesis? Of course not, that's silly. And yet, at some point, the two of you would have fought to the death unless by some happenstance she survived off scene. I love this point where it's off scene because they don't have screens. I never noticed that type before. That's fantastic. Equinox being productive in this economy? I know someone was talking earlier about where the other where the other three horses were, and I'm like, take your pick. There's a lot in chat. There's a lot on the screen. It's going to happen eventually. So, were we ever going to get a chapter about these two bug lords duking it out? I want to say that this is a reference to New Vegas. Also to just comics in general, but I believe there was a couple uh, of people in New Vegas that was like the Buggisher. Not quite the Buggisher, but it was something like that. Was it Fallout 3? I could have sworn it was New Vegas. Off scene also works for stage plays. I know, it's clever. That's why I'm saying. Most people would put off screen and everyone wouldn't think any differently. But you went the extra mile to be like, no, ponies don't have screens. I always assumed it was a Punisher. Oh, absolutely, it's a Punisher reference, but there's also some in one of the Fallout games of this exact thing happening, where it was like two anti-heroes duking it out, and honestly, it was just for the fun of it. No, neither of them was really serious. It's just mostly for entertainment in the post-apocalypse. I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched anyone play that area. Topaz gave me a suspicious look, and I found that I could not meet her eyes. Uh, I read the comics I get for Spike to ensure they are age appropriate. Some comic shops are less vigorous about maintaining such standards for their imported materials. The shopkeeper assured me that the maniac probably survived her last encounter, but a little implied darkness makes the day brighter. Her eyes twinkled behind her spectacles. You know it's fine if you like reading them, Idle. But what about you? It sounds like the whole thing in the palace was... In my case, nothing happened that I can recall. It is murky, but it seems I was just fed grapes and fanned mostly. I distinctly recall having grapes peeled for me, but I do not actually see the point of peeling them. Honestly, it seems far more messy than it is decadent. Oh, I know that one. Old grapes used to have tough skin, kind of like oranges, I guess. It's a really old-timey thing. Maybe before Luna and Celestia's time, even. I don't even know how you do it nowadays. The name is an homage to Punisher, but Queen Bee is just a bit more of a simple pun. Ah, fair enough. Fair enough. Gosh, I wish I could resize these sidebars. The Mechanist and the Antagonizer. I forgot that was part of the Mechanist storyline. The Buggisher was the main character. Queen Bee was just a generic villain. Of course, you gotta have your generic villains. And with how conspiracy theorists that she was about it, it could also be also an homage to The Question as well. Everything's a conspiracy theory. Bug ponies are taking over the government. Hey! Well, hey, now. I think Moth Chaser was the only one who really managed. At least, she was the only one who was still feeding me when things went back to normal. It was oddly impressive, actually. She was holding her wings up over us, and apparently dripping the juices from her wingtips into my mouth. Very dexterous. Wingstress? I twisted a bit, then held my foreleg in an arch above my head in an attempt to emulate the position, realizing after a moment that I could just become Moth Chaser and show her, but I suddenly felt that would make the explanation awkward in some way. I wonder if that's why she was so embarrassed. One shouldn't play with their food. Topaz scrunched her face. Sounds like there's going to be a bunch of ponies not sure how they feel. Honestly, Topaz scrunched her face. Sound like there's going to be a bunch of ponies not sure how they feel, honestly. I mean, I'm still kind of vaguely sure the government is out to get me. I wonder if this is how Mother feels all the time. It's going to be a problem, you know? Topaz began peeling some of the sticky... Topaz began peeling some of her sticky traps from around the windows, rolling them up to keep them from clinging to her feathers. I briefly attempted to help, but between my greasy hooves and the glue, it seemed a fool's errand. Ugh, Canterlot looks like we threw a citywide revel and every pony was wasted, and now it's going to be wet and weird. I nodded out the window, surveying the damage as I made a mental note, again to pursue... I nodded out the window, surveying the damage as I made a mental note, again to pursue why Topaz's mother was so confident that the guard had some business with her. A shame Shining isn't here now. Weather shields would make the day far less irritating. Nope, that was supposed to be Idol's line, I believe. You spelled Cersus wrong again. It's not going to work, All-Star. No! Who knew Cersus was such a hard word to spell? It will immediately go off the rails and become extremely weird. Just because you announced that you were leaving, How dare you know what we're like when we're left unsupervised? I nodded out the window, surveying the damage as I made a mental note again to pursue why Topaz's mother was so confident that the guard was... I nodded out the window, surveying the damage as I made a mental note again to pursue why Topaz's mother was so confident that the guard had some business with her. A shame Shining isn't here now. Weather shields would make the day far less irritating. Still, I should go. There is much for my ilk to clean up. Discord's magic may be gone, but clearly at least some of the damage he wrought is still in effect. From the sounds of it, it's probably best those two were out of town. I mean, where would Cadence have been for this whole mess? I shuddered. Fair point. I'm simply glad Princess Luna slept through the entire event. Now I wanted to make sure... I shuddered. Fair point. I am simply glad Princess Luna slept through the entire event. Now, I wanted to make sure everything was well here before I returned to assist, and it seems you have it all well in hoof. Lucky her, Topaz called up the stairs, shuffling with her awkward bundle of oversized pest traps. While I do appreciate that, you should. There was a long pause. Idle? Is there something you'd like to tell me? I frowned, thinking of a great many things that I would like to express, but nothing I frowned, thinking of a great many things I would like to express, but nothing that I thought was immediately urgent. No? I would have to do a sweep of the city, ensure there were no fires, no other strange damage that required immediate attention. I had caught a single paraspray on my way home, bouncing next to a music box, but that was a problem quickly resolved. I would have to check on the nymph. Order knows what she had gotten up to with a discorded Canterlot. The idea that she might have been caught up with the ponies who the Draconicus had altered was too frightening to warrant further contemplation. I would need to find her a better caretaker. I was too often called away on behalf of the princesses or the needs of Equestria. I was never trained as a nurse, and while I could provide food, I simply wasn't qualified to provide much in the way of education. Even after all these years, sometimes I still didn't know what I was doing. I made do, and somehow managed well enough. I had a few exiles in mind that seemed relatively stable. Surely one of them would be better cared for. It was doubtful any of them had been so thoroughly shamed by their It was doubtful any of them had been so thoroughly shamed by the former prisoner, regardless of what Topaz thought. Nothing? Really? I. That is. I frantically. Nothing? Really? I. I. That is. I frantically searched for anything I had forgotten to tell her as she made her way back up the stairs. I had neglected to mention any of Celestia's comments as we were. I. I. I frantically searched for anything that I had forgotten to tell her as she made her way back up the stairs. I had neglected to mention any of Celestia's comments after we were released from Discord's power, but I could not think of no way she would know of them. Things I would like to tell her. Had she changed her mane again? Hardly a fair thing to ask when she had been in a gas mask minutes prior. But I did like the must look. Topaz crested the stairs with a small bundle of rolled up sticky traps, with a small, chitined face poking out of it like an embarrassed changeling burrito. Oop. Topaz crested the stairs with a small bundle of rolled up sticky traps, with a small, chitined face poking out of it like an embarrassed changeling burrito. Tears were rapidly forming on the tiny face. Topaz's silence was deafening. You said that if. Oh, hold on. What's Circus's voice? No. No. Circus, what do you sound like? Circus, speak to me. We only had one other instance, as far as I can remember, when Circus actually spoke in the story. Which chapter is it in? Can I? Circus. No. 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 I used to be able to put bookmarks in here. Why can't I put bookmarks anymore? Ah, there it is. New. Reading. And then search. Moonlighting. There we go. Idol being topaz topaz sexual. I love the term topaz sexual. Just gosh. That's a funny way to put it, but I do understand what you're talking about. Now where is moonlighting? Wait. $42. Um, there we go. There we go. Yeah, fine, fine. Oh, open up. I just need to hear what I did for Cersis's voice.
Chapter 40 Moonlighting.
Okay, where is? Hold on. Sorry, you have to hear me twice.
That I recognized that I had no right to expect anything of the world were introduced. Pony things, I decided. I was being corrupted. Idle, tell her. Truthfully, your majesty, I have heard love and war have similar rules. Hear, hear! Luna grinned. Majesty? Thou art taken to grandness, we see. That's just idle. He's got a much higher opinion of me than I deserve. I promise. Nonsense. We look forward to sparring in the future. Her countenance changed, becoming less certain. If think? Cadence queried, intrigued, and still, all Princess Celestia needed was thine reinforced that I recognized that I from long ago. Surprised. Same, Luna murmured. I didn't even know that what I was doing. Nonsense. We stay. A griffin had decided them likened to knives, but this seems to be etiquette. Having decided that it was not without external strife, however, certain individuals usually. I think I can find some time for a little training. I certainly don't think heard love and war have special talent, and that of my moon were wrested from our hooves separately. Maybe I could intrigued and far more amused than the situation called for. I admit it was an odd thing to consider. Pink Celestia. Pink Celestia. My brain seized at that, but only momentarily. I was growing used to the betrayal of my mind when odd things were introduced. Pony things, I decided. I was being corrupted. I wondered idly if stating the term Pink Celestia would be an act of disloyalty. Maybe I could relay it to Topaz.
Gosh, where is it?
Hear, hear! Luna grinned. Majesty? Have any rhythm. It's not my fault. Caused some chaos, true, but my instructions are not supposed to answer without the proper signal. I agreed, now somewhat cross. If I am doing it wrong, you aren't supposed to respond. You don't have any rhythm. It's not my fault. The gatherer protested, wiggling her way out of a hole that.
You don't have any rhythm. Oh, that's that's what she sounds like. Oh, I would have been so wrong. Okay, there we go. You don't have it. There we go. Because you don't got rhythm. Yeah, you don't got rhythm. Yeah, you ain't got rhythm. You ain't got rhythm. Okay. Maine, you said? What Maine what? I don't know what you said. What is this reference to? It's been a long morning, I guess. Okay, love. Oh, of course it's got to be a love handle. If she's saying you don't have any rhythm, how could I not go love handle? Okay, so she's here. Topaz is here. Topaz, yeah. Topaz is here. Cersus is here. Yeah, Cersus is here. Okay, I got it now. It's very slight. Cersus is here. Topaz is back here. Yeah, Topaz is back here. Yeah. There we go. Right here. Oh yeah, they did bring back the show. Her being attracted to him made it possible for him to be attracted to her. 100%. Mothi, however, has been feeding him a lot of attraction too. You mean like here and now? Like right now? Oh, you don't get it. Okay, there we go. Now we got Cersus. Let's blow this joint. Not that kind of joint. The other one. She's a changeling, but a pony that likes bugs. Oh, it's up on YouTube already? Oh, that's fun. That's very fun. Question! What is thy question, Seth? If in front of Nerium and everything? Contain your thirst. No. Oh man, what would Idle think of Phineas and Ferb? I believe Idle would be one of the contractors that are like, aren't you a little old to be doing this? And then they show him all the permits filled out. I was like, all right, carry on. Why, yes, we do. I just realized I haven't saved. Gosh, that would have been terrible if I hadn't saved and it crashed. It's also written in crayon, but who am I to say whether or not it should be filled out with a pen? The Triangle Boy is a licensed engineer. There we go. Let's get back to where I show up in the thing. Let's go. The best part of the story. You said if anything happened, I could come here and I'd be safe. And I came here and I'm stuck and she's mad to see me and things were changing colors. Everything turned this weird wrong color and then there was a loud crashing and then there was water everywhere with weird shiny stuff in it and I just wanted to hide here for a few days and... Ah, you mean the nymph. Topaz's eyes twitched. Idle would be one of the ones to know Perry's secret. No, I feel like he would pull the Doofenshmirtz moment of a platypus? Perry the platypus! Topaz's eyes twitched. I have to re-record that because I was laughing. Topaz's eyes twitched. Obviously, it's not Perry without the hat. Yeah, and also, someone pointed out as well is that Perry's face changes where it's located on his body as soon as he puts the hat on. So why would Doofenshmirtz think that this random platypus is Perry? Because in pet mode, Perry has his face on the short side of his body, but in Perry mode, he has it on the long side of his body. Like, he's fully shifting forms while putting on the hat, so of course no one recognizes him. Topaz's eyes twitched. You're right. Thanks for catching that right now. Topaz's eye twitched. We are sponsored by Twitch today, chat. With how many times I'm going to be seeing it. Nymph sniffled. Nymph sniffled. That's a hard one. Nymph sniffled miserably as cooking oil dripped. Nymph sniffled miserably as cooking oil dripped off of her, soaking the thick towel Topaz had scrounged up for her. Nymph sniffled miserably as cooking oil dripped off of her. Nymph sniffled miserably as cooking oil dripped off of her, soaking the thick towel Topaz had scrounged up for her. I smell like hay fries. I smell like hay fries. But you are not bound in a prison of glue and fiber. A win, I would say. Topaz didn't even look up from where her face was buried in her forelegs at the kitchen table. Idle, you're telling me that you have kept an actual child in the sewers? Technically, that portion of the underground is the aqueduct. That isn't better. That isn't better. Hold on. That isn't better. I blinked. I would disagree. The sewer portion is exceptionally less pleasant and inhabited by the undead. Wait, what? Wait, what? Nymph, you are not. Oop. There we go. Nymph, you were not to bother Topaz unless there was an emergency. The little changeling shrunk into her makeshift blanket and oil rag. I got scared. There was lots of water, all kinds of noise. I wasn't even going to bother her. I just wanted to sleep near you in case something was happening. I sighed. Thunder is nothing to be afraid of in Ponylands, little nymph. The weather patrol is trying to clean up the mess left by the problem, and it is a mess. I was going to come check on you. It's a mess. I was going to come check on you. She's staying here. I blinked, turning towards Topaz. Pardon? There is who knows what runoff going into those storm drains right now, and she needs a bath. She's staying here tonight. Nymph's hooves hit the table in an impotent, slippery fury. Nymph's hooves hit the table in impotent, slippery fury, nearly causing her to slide from both the table and chair. The beginning of Mama Topaz. Oh, 100%. She smells dead? No, she smells like hay fries. It's not oleic oil, it's just vegetable oil. But yeah, I smell like hay fries. Nymph's hooves hit the table in an impotent, slippery fury, nearly causing her to slide from both table and chair. I can take care of myself. I'm sure you can, but you're staying here until things dry out. Idle, get her things. She'd better have things, or this discussion is going to get a lot more argumentative. I considered, pointing out that most changelings didn't technically have property in general, but was saved by my sometimes wiser charge. But was saved by my sometimes wiser charge. Nymph pouted. I already have my things, and I have a waterproof sack that I keep my books in. Oh, you have books, comics, or. Now distracted from her misery slightly, Nymph brightened. I have Daring Do's Adventure Awaits, Daring Do and the Marked Thief, and Cursed Chalice, and the Cave of Exalted Nightmares. A good starting collection. I'll tell you what, I have a copy of Daring Do and the Eternal Flower somewhere. If you stay here, take a nice warm bath, and relax, I'll let you read it. Deal? Deal. Wait, where did you get the last one? I sputtered, perplexed. I could distinctly remember not getting her that one yet. It was going to be a reward for good behavior. I did someone. Hold on, that's Topaz. Nope, Topaz, you're reading your daughter's line by mistake. Sorry. I did someone's homework for it. I don't understand why ponies don't like math, but helping a friend is what a good professional imaginary friend does. I stared in disbelief. You are doing other ponies' work for them? Sure, she already read it, and I want to try doing homework. It's kind of boring. You cannot do that. That is to say the work is. I was at complete loss. It was one thing to do labor that needed to be done, but to steal labor assigned specifically to another, I could not begin to. You sh- You shouldn't do that. The reason a pony has homework like that is to memorize a basic skill or to work through the process of figuring out. Most of the time. Besides, if you start doing one pony's homework, it means all those other ponies are going to get jealous because they still have to do their own. Topaz gave me an apologetic look at her interruption. Some teachers give way too much idle. Foals should have the chance to be foals. Well, I couldn't argue with that. What's What's this professional imaginary friend business? Nymph's grin was infectious, and she hopped down and skated to her bags with a bit of flailing, pulling out a few shards of her own cast-off exoskeleton. She's certainly grown in the interim between the nurse bringing her here and today. Perhaps I overfed her, but, spoiling the nymphs was a drone's prerogative. Resisting was already difficult enough. She held up the shards, concentrated, and formed a small stack of cards with the flash of the telltale green fire. Perhaps a dozen cards altogether. Proudly, she offered myself and Topaz each one. Professionals have business cards! Topaz was obviously impressed, peering at the cards. Red Shock Imaginary Friend, care of. Red. Red Shock Imaginary Friend, care of the bush by the jungle gym. I didn't know you could even do that. Idle, you were supposed to tell me these things. That would be very difficult given that I did not know we could do this thing. Sparkle Mooney of Dreamtime and Moonbeams? He had caught giving Cersei a hard time as the spoiled was to do. You know, he began casually. I would not antagonize her if I were you. She's Celestia's god. Sparkle. I did not know we could do this thing. Sparkle Mooney of Dreamtime and Moonbeams? Is Mooney even a name? Oh, that's for when I'm helping with closet monsters and stuff, and it is a name because I say it is. She stomped a hoof, then winced. Oh, you better put those down before. Topaz gave a shriek as her cart burst into flames and she dropped it, stomping a few times. What little remained seemed to be a smear of crumbling ash. My own cart seemed to be fine until I carefully set it before me on the ground, where it did the exact same thing, producing little heat but destroying the cart entirely. Fascinating. See, I can hand them out, but they just vanish and no pony has any idea where they go. She waved a hoof where. She waved a hoof showily in the air, threw the rest of her cards into the air where they all caught fire and drifted to the ground as little more than emerald embers. Prestidigit. Presti. It's imaginary friend magic, okay? I glanced apologetically towards Topaz. I just have no idea what I'm supposed to do with her. Well, you better figure it out. Come on, young lady, let's get you into that bath. Idle, you're going to need to figure out what to do because I'm really thinking the sewer thing isn't a great idea. Up the stairs, come on. She halted and gave me a look. And don't start telling a fool that there are undead monsters in the sewer. Dear Celestia, Idle, you'll give her nightmares. You'll give me nightmares. She trotted up the stairs after the nymph. You better get moving or you're going to be late. I frowned at her backside, trying to come up with an argument. But there are. I finally... But... But there are? But... But there are. I finally mumbled to the empty kitchen, then shook my head and went back to the task of helping the city clean up after the short-lived reign of the god of chaos. Holy crap, I finished a whole chapter in one sitting. This never happens, and it only took a half hour longer than the stream was supposed to go. I don't know what's happening today. This is strange feeling. Is what's happening? Does anyone know what's happening? This doesn't happen. This just does not happen. I think I need to play the lotto because this is insane. Oh, absolutely. I was also going to list all Cersei's other connections, such as Kate. Oh, but my headcanons is the things in the sewers are not undead, but the remains of Sweetie Belle's attempts at cooking. No, the things in the sewer, we actually get to meet one of them in one of the vignettes. It's Mr. Bones. It's the skeleton crew that the city necromancers uses to help clean and maintain the Undercity. But yeah, I'm going to be watching out for lightning and maybe play the lotto because, gosh, this is a day for unlikely events to occur. But yeah, this is weird. This is just too weird for me. And who knows? Maybe Sweetie Belle got better at cooking as she grew up. How did this happen? Your guess is as good as mine. I think there's some black magic going on. Someone cursed. I wonder if someone could curse the stream to make it actually productive for once. I don't know. Which is even funnier because I came into the stream fully preparing not to have anything done. Because that's what's been happening for over a year now. We're supposed to be better than this. Ha ha ha! I have defeated your distractions. It was not often that Mr. Bones left the sewers, usually only when a very serious report needed to be made to the princesses, and even then, they only reported at night, which made this even more unusual to see him out in broad daylight walking through town. Like Bones is weird because we only really see him once, and it's all from Cersei's perspective. So, like, they're supposed to be like non non sapient beings that are fully controlled by necromancers put on like automatic. But then uh, but then Cersei's like feeds it milk and is like, I think he smiled at me. I'm not sure though. And then the last thing you hear is that he beat up a changeling to save the foals. So like there's something going on. We just don't know what. Imagine a pony skeleton walking through town all casual like. Yeah, like it's going to be one of those things where people will be scared of it because they don't realize that that's actually a very common thing, especially if you get into city maintenance. But even though it's fully legal and above board. It's actually pretty useful to donate your skeleton. Your your living family uh, uh, gets paid for the use of your body, and your body just gets used for like what uh, a couple of decades, and then it gets laid to rest again. I can't remember what V's explanation of the whole of everything was. Some even volunteered. Exactly. Oh gosh, man, this stream ran a bit longer than I intended, but honestly, I'm glad for that because it allowed me to finish a whole chapter in one sitting. Hopefully, I don't need to delete this chapter because of audio problems. It seemed to be fine. Please be fine. If not, we'll be starting this again next time on Dragon Ball Z on Livestream with the Guard. Nah, necromancy has come a long, long way. Now they can restore bodies to like new conditions. The necromancers pay you in advance for posthumous use of your body, but you agree to take certain care of it. Oh, 100%. Aunt Jemima. I don't know who Aunt Jemima is. I don't watch movies. I apologize. I just don't have time. And it takes a lot of energy for me to start watching something. Although once I start watching something, I thoroughly enjoy it, but it takes a long while for me to get to that point. Sir, wait, is there? Wait, hold on. Oh, they paid to use her picture posthumously. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. I don't think we have those. We don't have Aunt Jemima out here. It might be an East Coast brand. I'm not sure. Because as far as I can remember, all we have is generics and Miss Buttersworth, and that's about it. You did, comma? I'll have to look closer at the store. COVID was used to get rid of the contract. Ah, gotcha. Peel mill. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Is the surplus. But yeah, so when the necromancers use your body posthumously, is it for a certain period of time, or are they just going to keep on, or are they going to keep working you to the bone until your body's no longer useful for maintenance anymore? Or can they repair bone? I'm not sure. I remember reading one story where necromancy was part of healing spells because it's used to like mend bone and whatnot. I think they had an explanation of bones not being really alive, so having magic that will alter the bones themselves is necromantic in and of itself. Oh, geez, really? A pearl mill. I'll have to check it out next time at the store, but I go to a more local chain, so it probably doesn't show up there because that local chain usually uh, has less bread. It's kind of like a Costco, but it's more intended to be like it's still mostly a grocery store, but they do offer bulk occasionally. But any hoozles, that that was a surprising stream. Didn't think that any of that was going to happen. I will probably search through previous streams that I have my previous streams just to see what's happening there. or not what's happening there, to see whether or not I can find all the rest of the names for the Officer Friendly Corps. G.I. Pone. And Idol as a 007 like spy. Oh, that's the Chocolatier. Wait, no. Idol is Chocolatier is a different spy character. Oh no. Wait, wasn't the Chocolatier one that was just like a regular confectionist, but people keep on thinking that he was a super spy or something? If I were to write a spin-off, what would I do? Oh gosh. I honestly don't know cuz I don't have much experience in writing, but like I feel like a fun twist would be having like it would definitely be on the shorter side of things. And I wouldn't or to get someone to write it for you. I don't know cuz Idol is such a fun character to play around with. I feel like an interesting story that no one's really gone through is how he and the family would react to meeting me or V. Uh, like there are some comics that go over of like when the creation meets their creator. Or there was a Batman skit that happened where Mark Hamill, uh, where the Joker captured actual actor Mark Hamill, and they played a joke of Mark Hamill like pitting the bad guys against each other because he's a voice actor. It would just be really funny to see how would they react to hearing their own voice coming from me. It's harder than you think. I've been trying my hand at a character piece. Oh, I know. There's several stories that have been running around my head for decades, but I just don't have the time nor like the knowledge or want to like actual the conviction to actually like finish writing it. One story that I originally started writing way back when I was still in high school uh, was a funny enough a story about changelings, but was about this squad of soldiers, like 6 soldiers that were like elite. They were to infiltrate mysterious disappearances around the Badlands, found their way into the Changeling Hive underground, and were captured. Uh, but the story begins with like a dream that became a nightmare, and and the captain of this guard waking up uh, from a cocoon and like punching his way out of it, and him making his way back to Equestria. And he makes it out of the hive unscathed because, or uncontested because the whole hive is gone for the invasion, and they left all the pods unguarded, or they left his pod unguarded because all the other pods were already empty. And he makes his way back to give his report, but it turns out that that he had been uh, suspended in stasis, and it had actually been over 1,000 years. So when gets to the castle of the two sisters, he finds it abandoned and tries to make his way back up to Canterlot. It stopped for various reasons. I never got that far into the story. Oh, have a good one, Farfella. See you later. Um, and it goes into this story where changelings, changelings, in order to create more changelings, capture ponies, drain them of their love, and that in combination with being cocooned, births a new changeling. he didn't get his emotions complete. He was still undergoing the process and whatnot. So throughout the story, he suddenly has more changeling ish urges, or his body starts turning into a changeling very slowly as he's trying to make his way back to Celestia to give his report, because his no one knows that his unit even existed. They were called, like, I think I went with like the honor guard, and the whole unit was retired after everyone went out on a mission and never returned. And Celestia didn't want to lose ponies like that again. What's this story now? It's a story that I came up with way back when, and I never finished it. I I only got one chapter in to the story, and I never finished writing it. Let's see, it's still up on FimFiction underneath my profile. Um, let's see, where's my stories? Hail the Conquering Hero the is the title I gave to it, just because I couldn't think of anything. And the first story in the first chapter, first and only chapter, being That Which Lies in the Dark. Um, and it was the issue with stories is that I can't think of a story. I only write it. I can only think of exciting scenes to have in a story, not how they connect to each other. And I even have like two endings to this story, and I'm like, I don't know which one I like better. Because in one story, enough of your life story can continue the idle words. Hey, we're already past capacity. We've gone past one whole chapter for this one stream. uh, but like the two ways that I thought the story could go is that he gets recaptured by the changelings after the failed attempt at the Canterlot wedding, and uh, after the failed or he gets recaptured, and it turns, and like through him getting captured by these changelings, he finds out that these changelings that are actually capturing him are his old squad mates that have been turned and corrupted by the changelings. And he gets like put back into a cocoon to like finish the transformation process, and then breaks out before he can be completely turned. I don't know where the story was going to go after that. Uh, Maybe a turnaround on like changelings in general. And one of the last scenes of the story that I thought of, uh, one of the scenes I thought of was him returning to the changeling hive, almost fully turned into a changeling himself, and sacrificing himself to destroy the heart of corruption at the hive, and releasing the souls of the ponies that have been trapped there for ages. Um, and or after destroying the corruption, uh, all these all these ponies, griffins, and characters of the world are now like free of this mind control, but they're still changelings, and now they have to find their way through a society that they don't really know anymore, because they're thousands of years apart from when they were themselves. Turns into skittlebugs. No, this was thought of long before skittlebugs. Oh, and Seth, All Star is talking about the not the Conservative Party in America, but the Conservative Party in the UK, which are colloquially called the Tories. And when you said, "What's this Tory now?" he he jumped on a misspelling to tell a political humor. But anyway, but yeah, this was one story that I sat on for the longest time and never really finished because I just didn't know where I wanted to take it. Because first drafts of the story, he remained in Ponyville the entire time and never made it back to Celestia. Other versions of the story, he made it back to Celestia, but was rehomed back to Ponyville for one reason or another. Uh, or another version, he uh, he never gets a chance to. He never gets the chance. Like he manages to break some of his legs in, and so he's confined to Ponyville Hospital, and he's trying to find his way back to the princesses and Princess Twilight's uh, there, but she's confused about the whole situation. And yeah, uh, it's one of those things where it's like, it sounds so good in my head. As soon as I try and write it, I'm like, this is so bad. Young idol who gets exiled as a nymph and winds up taken in by the Pie family. Well, that would make complete sense because changelings are fairly similar to the Pie family, with the exclusion of Pinkie Pie. Maybe a distant relation. But like being a rock farmer, I feel like Idol would, for the most part, enjoy. He would think it would be insane rock farming, but he would enjoy being able to carve rocks with his hooves all day. Uh, I don't know if the story would change all too much. He would be used to his sister's antics. I mean that could also be true. That would also be fair. I wonder what he would think of the whole um, cutie mark party for Pinky. Would he uh, would that genuine upwelling of emotion just completely like overwhelm him, and he would have no choice but to give in to it? They just end up with two mods. No, he is mod the whole time. Well, the thing is that Pinky doesn't really have antics um, until after the rain boom happens. So if we're telling the story of like Idol gets taken in as a nymph, Idol's pony name ends up being Claude Pie. or even or how about this? Even better. Instead of being Pinky's sister, he's Pinky's dad instead. He's just the head of the Pie family, uh, and so all of them are part changelings, which explains why Pinky can do some random some why all of the Pie family can do weird things that no one can explain, including being able to quickly and easily break down large boulders with their bare hooves. That's my thinking. Like, if we really want to go all in on this, that would be the way to do it. And then I would also explain why these ponies, like, I know they're an allegory for like Amish and whatnot, but why all these ponies, they're being raised more like changelings than regular ponies, and Pinky breaking out into a more pony-esque lifestyle. His wife matches his personality very well, and Pinky is the outlier. Yeah, they all match his personality, and he just happens by happenstance meets up with uh, his wife that shares his personality very well. They raise their children in the same way, and then Pinky's first party completely throws him for a loop, and he just upwelling of emotion, like he's been living off of more subtle things. So this outpouring of just complete raw emotion overwhelms him the entire time. A perfect changeling pony. Exactly. And you could put that like Maud has some changeling in her as or is more changeling than any. Your joke of Idol being Maud is not a bad idea at all, actually. Hey, that's what I'm saying. Like, I honestly, I think the whole Pie family is part changeling to some way, shape, or form, because they couldn't show it in the show due to visual restrictions. But how else are they shearing through boulders with just their hooves? What it should be is that they're subtly transforming their bodies. It doesn't have the green fire because they're not pure changelings, but they're able to alter and harden their shape subconsciously in order to in order to shear through stone as if it was nothing. I always assumed it was just Earth Pony magic. The fact that everyone is surprised by it is just institutionalized unicorn magic supremacy. But we don't see any other Earth ponies doing such feats. The closest we get is Applejack, like, throwing off a boulder, but she's not punching through it. She just throws it over a hill. And it's like, if you saw that in real life, you'd think of it as preposterous. Never considered the Amish comparison? It's very upfront with the Amish comparison. Although I can understand why you didn't connect it. I say Twice Park Kieran. Oh, 100% Twice Park Kieran. Maybe all unicorns share some form of Kieran legacy of Kieran blood, but Twi's close relations are even closer to Kieran blood. That's why she is able to transform under duress like that. But yeah, so that one time, yeah, the one time that she evolved into a Rapidash. Very briefly. Hold on. Now I need to look up what Pinky's dad's name is. Sure, but breaking rocks is the Pie family thing. The way of taking care of apple trees is the Apple family thing. I mean, absolutely. But here's my thing. They're not really supposed to be breaking through the rocks. They're there to grow and nourish the rocks. They just also happen to be able to break through boulders. Their thing is to help rocks grow through rock farming. Igneous rock. That's Idol is secretly Igneous rock. That is their official name. I mean, it's probably because I've never watched the show. Essentially, everything I know is from fandom osmosis and from listening to the songs. That is completely fair. That is completely fair. I'll be honest, I haven't watched. I got first introduced to the fandom by fanfics, and then the only reason I started watching the show was because I was reading through fanfiction. I'm like, man, there's a lot of Twilight being an alicorn. I'm like, it makes sense for her character, but why is everyone suddenly giving her wings? I had no idea. I absolutely had no idea. And then that's why I started watching the show, was to be like, what? Why is this happening? Then I watched for a few years and then stopped at season 7? Hold on. Season 4 was Twilight and Tyrek. Season 5 was Starlight. Oh, no. Oh, and season 6 was everyone. So yeah, I haven't watched season 7 and onwards from it. I'd agree that Applejack perfectly knocking every single apple off a tree without damaging the tree is all more impressive than just shearing a rock really quick. I would, that is fair. Uh, that is fair to say, especially since it's not only knocking all the apples off the apple tree, but also knocking them off into the perfectly into the buckets without spilling a single drop. That's the that's more impressive stuff. But hooves aren't really that tough. Like they are tougher than like fingernails. That's just because they're so thick. They're like made out of the same material. So the fact that hooves being able to go through rocks, I'd say that's pretty impressive too. Like it's more impression it's being impressed by the durability and strength rather by the finesse that the Apple family shows. The comics honestly slap a lot of good stuff in there. Yeah, that's what I heard too. From what I mean, when you can cut through stone with a sledgehammer, again, endurance, toughness and endurance, being a pie family trait. Like that's still well cared for because Rainbow crashed into a rock one time and broke a bone. Like, and the pie family can do that no problem whatsoever. Steel is definitely stronger than rock. Yeah, they should be named Steel Hooves. Oh, maybe that's the maybe that's the Apple family relation to Apple Snack. Equestria does have horseshoes. That is true. I have to buy it because we mentioned before, but one issue had Twilight and Cadence having to deal with bootleg merch of them in the Crystal Empire. Really? Yeah, that must have been an episode that I missed because I don't remember that one at all. But yeah, I'll have to find that episode because that's kind of funny. Oh no, that's the comic. Gotcha. That's a comic. Yeah. I I don't prefer how they do I don't like how they do the Changeling origin story, being it's a evil cursed tree that spawns them from a crack because they're evil. I don't like that. Just saying the changelings are evil because they're born of evil magic. I much prefer the idea of them being a corrupted different species, or just a whole species entirely. Don't even need to add the corrupted part, but just having them born of evil. That's what makes them evil. That's why it's okay to not like them. Like I don't like that part. That does sound like the comics do honestly sound pretty fun, and I love the artwork that happens in them all the time. Anyway, it's almost 1 o'clock my time, so and I've been streaming for 3 hours now, which is fairly average for the length of streams I do. But I ran out of water like an hour ago, maybe an hour and a half ago, so I gotta go refill that and get get on because I got a long work week ahead of me, and I want to see if I can try and make more miracles happen today. Who cares? Stay a while. I mean, honestly, I don't. But my family is planning on doing something for Father's Day, so I might pop in there, say hey to everyone. I mean, it's not like we saw each other the last 2 weeks because of birthdays, but you know, the more the merrier, and all that jazz. Plus, if I keep streaming, I might not be able to make a second miracle happen by. Hold on, maybe, possibly doing another, possibly editing a chapter. Not saying I am. I'm not saying I am. I'm saying it's a possibility. So I got more done this stream than the last 4 streams combined, honestly. I don't think I've recorded a single line of a chapter since last year. Maybe even before then. So who's buying lotto tickets today? I mean, everyone should. That's not financial advice. Anyway, it was nice talking to y'all. Hopefully, we can make this more regular as I'm more used to this schedule. We will see how I feel next week. If I'm feeling up to it, I'll ping. I'll set up an event the night before, so that way everyone will know at least half a day in advance. If not, then oops. Oh yeah, that's the comic. I think I've seen that before. But yeah, I'll have to check it out later. Anyway, y'all have a good night. Enjoy your Sunday, whatever day of the week it is where you are. And we shall see you in the next episode. Bye bye. No, I'm not doing that. Have a good one, everyone. Oh, hold on. Seth has one last question. Seth, what is your question? Would Maud's sister still like Briar? Would Idle Maud still like Briar? I haven't watched that episode, so I don't have I don't know what Briar's personality is. Probably not. He's Idle approved. I don't know, because Idle does like it would take an extremely exceptional pony to catch Idle's eyes. And Idle would have been completely like hashtag forever alone and perfectly fine with that, except for what happened with everything with the queen. If that didn't happen, he would still probably be lying to himself about his own feelings even now. But even more monotone. Oh, yeah, I know enough about I know enough about it, but I'm like, probably not, because the same relationship that made Topaz him really enjoy get together with Topaz is not exuded in the same likewise in Briar. I just think the whole Pie family is secretly changelings. That is how I'm going to stick with it. And Pinky's weirdness even ties back into this. So I feel like Idle less being Maud and more Ignatius makes much more sense, because why else can they shear through boulders like nothing? Also, why can Pinky change her appearance so quickly and break the laws of physics while changing her appearance? Nothing but a changeling could do that. And why is she the life of the party? Because she feeds on the party. It all makes sense now. Pinky's been a changeling the whole time. Izzy is a descendant. I feel like that's canon. 100%. 100% Izzy's a canon. Like, yeah, that's my final thoughts on it. Pinky's a changeling. Izzy's a descendant of Idle. 100%. Or at least Pinky's not full changeling. Pinky's part changeling. Let's say half. So that way it works even better with Ignatius being a changeling, maybe even idle. And Twy is part Kieran. Maybe it lies dormant in her bloodline in some way, shape, or form. But anyway, I really gotta get going. It's time for lunch, I guess. Yeah, I guess I better eat lunch. Anyway, I shall talk to you all later, and you'll probably see me lurking in the Discord at some point or another. Have a good one. Peace.